What's up, BJ Nation? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reacting to 3 players who mysteriously walked away from the NBA. How can you walk away from the NBA? But shout out to Cosgrove. He was the person that made this video. If I don't know, I'm actually a big fan of you, Cosgrove, so please don't strike down this video. I'm a big fan, alright? I'm being serious. Ooh. I'm gonna be real. One thing that I like about Cosgrove, his intros, bro. Like his intros, it feels like he about to watch a Netflix documentary. Like, look at this. So I feel like I'm about to relax and chill, watch a scary movie up in this. Who's this?
Several NBA players have walked away from the league under unusual and mysterious circumstances, often leaving fans confused as to why. Now, I'm not talking about players who were forced to retire due to injury, or even players who got banned. I'm talking about players who walked away on their own free will. Here are some notable examples. Larry Sanders was a rising defensive star who seemed destined to dominate the NBA. But in 2015, at just 26 years old, Sanders walked away from basketball.
Larry Sanders, 26, quits the NBA to explore my true life purpose.
In the prime of his career. Drafted 15th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks in 2010, he quickly became known for his shot
Bro, he was 6'10", bro.
blocking and rebounding. By the 2012-13 season, he was averaging nearly a double-double with almost 3 blocks per game. But then, almost as quickly as he arrived, he was gone. In 2015, Sanders stunned the basketball world by leaving the NBA, despite having a $44 million contract due to mental health struggles and a lack of passion for the game.
Larry Sanders, of course, a very talented young professional basketball player, says he's got some issues with stress and anxiety and so on and so forth as a prescription for marijuana, had a hard time kicking it, and has walked away from the game of basketball. He says the lifestyle doesn't suit him and so on and so forth. So he took some of the money and exited the NBA.
Sanders explained that the fame and lifestyle of the NBA just didn't align with his personal values or his happiness.
Well, I know I disappeared for a while. People were wondering where I was. I actually entered into Rogers Memorial Hospital, and it was a program for anxiety and depression, mood disorders. It taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about what's important and where I would want to devote my time and energy.
He said that he didn't feel human in the NBA, and for basketball to be consuming so much of his life was unhealthy.
I think I love basketball. I always be playing basketball, but for it to be consuming so much of my life and time right now, that's it's not there for me. That's not that worth it.
I will be real, because like NBA players, like the NBA takes so much of their time. Like they barely have 8 times to spend time with their families.
Although he briefly attempted to make a comeback with the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2017, it didn't last very long, as he only played 5 games with them. Since leaving the NBA, Sanders has channeled his energy into other passions, such as art, music, and fashion. People just couldn't understand why he was choosing to walk away from millions of dollars, but he felt that he had to, in order to chase what made him happy.
I think this is seen to be a desirable, lucrative job and position. So people say, "Oh, how could you be unhappy there? How could that be a place you don't want to be?" Values and the relationship with the people I love around me. That's like my real riches. That's what the lasting, my lasting wealth.
Now, Josh Childress didn't
So basically, he's picking family over the NBA.
necessarily walk away from the game, but he did walk away from the NBA, which was a move that made many headlines, as it was rare for a player of his caliber to leave the NBA for Europe. In 2008, Josh Childress made one of the most surprising decisions in NBA history by leaving the NBA at just 25 years old after spending just 4 seasons with the Atlanta Hawks. It was almost unheard of for a player in their prime to leave the NBA for Europe.
Josh Childress made huge news last week when he announced he was leaving the NBA to play for Olympiacos in Greece.
At the time, Childress was coming off a solid season with the Hawks, averaging over 11 points per game as a key contributor off the bench. But instead of signing a new NBA contract, he packed his bags and headed to Greece to join one of the top teams in Europe. Olympiacos offered him a 3-year, $20 million contract, tax-free, which was a much
the Hawks was not paying him that much. When that paycheck hits, I guess it's worth it, huh?
much more attractive deal than the offers he received from NBA teams at the time. On top of that, the deal also came with perks such as a luxury apartment, a car, and even covering his living expenses. But it wasn't just about the money. Childress was also frustrated with his role in Atlanta and reportedly felt undervalued.
Why, in fact, did you do this? Was it purely for financial considerations, or is there more to it than that?
It was a little more to it than that. I think that, obviously, the financial reasons come into play. But, it came down to me making a decision based on what I felt was right. I mean, I went through the process of restricted free agency, didn't like my options, and Atlanta was kind of dragging their feet. So I made a move across to Greece.
What's interesting is it was actually Chris Rock of all people who indirectly played a part in Josh's decision to walk away from the NBA. Josh explained that he doesn't think it's fair that when players try to get the best contract possible, they're automatically viewed as selfish. But when the owners don't hesitate to cut players, nobody even bats an eye, and recalled one of Chris Rock's comedy sketches.
Actually, you know who made me think about that I think it was Chris Rock. And his stand-up thing, and he was like,
there are no wealthy black or brown people in America. We got some rich ones. We don't got no fucking wealth. People go, oh, what's the difference? Here's the difference. Shaq is rich. The white man that signs his check is wealthy.
And so that's when I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is exactly right. I want to be that guy.
After 2 seasons, he made a return to the NBA in 2010, but could never quite replicate his earlier success. Nevertheless, his decision paved the way for other players to consider overseas, not just as a fallback, but as a legitimate career move.
No, I didn't realize that it was going to be as big as it was, in terms of the media exposure. But I think, the fact that I was in the prime of my NBA career and left to Europe, it was kind of a first. Most guys go over there because either they don't have anything here, or that's just the first.
Bro, it's like the fact that you left in your prime, bro. Like usually, like when NBA players goes to Europe to play basketball, like Patrick Beverley, he's obviously not in his prime no more, so he went to Europe.
Destination that they have to go to, and I did have something here, and I left.
Drafted 21st overall in 2009, Darren Collison quickly made a name for himself as a steady and reliable point guard. Over 10 seasons, he played for several teams and averaged an impressive 12 points and 5 assists per game. In fact, during the 2017-18 season, he led the league in 3-point shooting percentage, which is why it caught everybody off guard when he announced that he was stepping away from the game in 2019. He was arguably coming off the 2 best seasons of his career.
Darren Collison has only gotten better with age. His last 2 seasons with the Pacers were arguably the best of his career. He was dominant behind the three-point line and led the team in assists per game. But after a decade in the league, Collison has decided to retire. It comes as a surprise to many, including his own teammates.
So why walk away when he was still playing at such a high level? In June of 2019, Collison announced his retirement, citing religious reasons. He explained to ESPN that while he still loves basketball, he wanted to focus more on his faith. As a Jehovah's Witness, Collison placed a high value on his spirituality and giving back, and that he felt that it was time to fully dedicate himself to serving others and living out his beliefs, as well as to spend more time with his family.
That was just something that, I thought about for a while. I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure they'll know, but we don't really see our family like that throughout the season. It's tough. Right. It takes, your significant other, your kids, whatever so it may be. And, I feel like 10 years was a good enough time for me to take a step back. Spending more time with your kids, it's just no other feeling. There's no better feeling to do that. A lot of us players, we don't really have that much time with our families, and just be able to
realize that's the main topic they're bringing up now.
To spend more time with my son was a big thing to me. You know what I mean? Taking a step back and reassessing my priorities right now, and being able to spend more time with him.
Collison's decision wasn't about money. In fact, he actually received multiple contract offers for around $10 million per season, but turned them down. 2 years later in 2021, he made a brief cameo with the LA Lakers, only playing 3 games with them. He walked away from the NBA not because he had to, but because he wanted to live a life that aligned with his faith. And that's something we can all respect.
Yeah, I respect that. Shout out to Kosh Grove, man. This is a very, very well put together video. You know, most of these players, they left because of their faith, which is, hey, you know, God's calling them to do something else, and now step away from the NBA, do what you gotta do. But that's gonna be the end of the video. Hey, comment down below any other videos I should be reacting to, because I'm gonna be more on this reacting side. You know, I like reacting to videos. It just gets the job done more easier for me, especially me. Subscribe to join the EJ Nation, and I will see you guys in the next video.